Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Learn English podcast. I am your host, Julia. And with me, as always, is our regular guest, Bob. Welcome, Bob.
Hi, Julia. It is great to be here again. And hello to all our listeners.
Today, we have a very important and interesting topic for all of you who are learning English. We are going to talk about daily routines.
Yes, daily routines. This means the things you do every day, like waking up, eating, or going to work. It is something we all do, so it is perfect for learning new English words and phrases.
That is right, Bob. Understanding and talking about your daily routine is very common in English conversations. It helps you practice simple sentences and useful verbs.
So, if you are a beginner English learner, this episode is for you. We will make it easy to understand and give you many examples. Get ready to learn about how to describe your day in English.
Let us start learning. Bob, we just said daily routine. Can you help our listeners understand what that means? What is a daily routine?
Of course, Julia. A daily routine is simply the things you do every day, usually in the same order. It's like a plan for your day, but it happens naturally.
That is a great way to put it, Bob. It's the sequence of things people do every day. So, like, the first thing I do when I wake up, then the next thing and the next.
Exactly. For example, many people wake up in the morning. That is part of their daily routine. After that, they might brush their teeth. That is also part of their daily routine.
Yes, and then they might eat breakfast. So, waking up, brushing teeth, eating breakfast are all parts of a daily routine. These are simple actions that happen every day.
Yes, these are very common examples. A routine is something that you repeat. It helps you organize your day. It's not just morning things, though. Your routine can be for your whole day.
That is right. It's about what you do in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. It's your typical day.
Think of it as your daily habits, the things you do without thinking too much because you do them so often.
So, when we talk about a daily routine, we mean the regular activities you do day after day. It helps us talk about our lives in English. Now that we know what a daily routine is, Bob, can you tell us about your morning routine? What do you do every morning? Our listeners can learn from your examples.
Yes, I can. My morning routine is simple. First, I wake up. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day.
You wake up early. And after you wake up, what do you do next?
After I wake up, I drink water. I always drink a big glass of water. Then I go to the bathroom and wash my face.
So, you wake up, you drink water, and you wash your face. What do you do after you wash your face? Do you eat breakfast right away?
Not right away, Julia. After I wash my face, I brush my teeth. I always brush my teeth for 2 minutes. It's important for good health.
Yes, brushing your teeth is very important. So, you brush your teeth, and after that, what do you do?
After I brush my teeth, I get dressed. I put on my clothes for the day. Then I go to the kitchen to make breakfast.
You make breakfast. What do you usually eat for breakfast?
I usually eat eggs and toast for breakfast. Sometimes I eat fruit too. I drink coffee with my breakfast.
So, you wake up, drink water, wash your face, brush your teeth, get dressed, and then you eat breakfast. That is a clear routine. And after breakfast, what is the last part of your morning routine before you start work or your day?
After breakfast, I check my email and read the news online for a few minutes. Then I leave my house and go to work. That is my simple morning routine.
That is a great example of a morning routine using many common verbs in the simple present tense. Listeners, did you notice Bob said, I wake up, I drink, I wash, I brush, I get dressed, I eat, I check, and I go. These are all simple present tense verbs. We use them to talk about things we do every day. Bob, thank you for sharing your routine. Bob, your morning routine is very clear. Thank you for sharing it. Now let's talk about my afternoon routine. I will tell you what I do in the afternoon, and I will use some time words.
Oh, good. Time words are very useful for our listeners. Please tell us, Julia.
Okay, so after I finish my morning work, I usually eat lunch. I eat lunch around 12:30 p.m. Sometimes it is 1 p.m.
So you eat lunch at 12:30 p.m. or 1 p.m. And what do you do after lunch, Julia?
After lunch, in the early afternoon, I usually take a short break. Maybe I walk outside for 15 minutes or I read a book. This is around 1:30 p.m. It helps me to relax.
So you relax a little at 1:30 p.m. That sounds nice. And then, do you go back to work?
Yes, I go back to work. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., I work on the podcast. This is when I plan new episodes, like this one, and edit the audio. So I work on the podcast for a few hours in the afternoon.
From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. That is a long time working on the podcast. What happens after 5 p.m.?
After 5 p.m., I stop working. This is usually around 5:30 p.m. In the late afternoon, I like to do something different. Sometimes I go to the gym, or sometimes I meet a friend for coffee.
So you finish work at 5:30 p.m. and then you have free time. What do you do in the evening after work?
In the evening, I usually cook dinner. I cook dinner around 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. After dinner, I watch a little TV or read a book again.
And when do you usually go to bed, Julia? What time do you sleep?
I usually go to bed late, Bob. I go to bed at 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. Then I sleep. So that is my afternoon and evening routine.
Thank you, Julia. That was a good example of how to use time expressions. Listeners, did you hear Julia say at 12:30 p.m., in the early afternoon, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., after 5 p.m., and in the evening? These are all ways to talk about when something happens.
Bob, your routine and my routine use many common verbs. These verbs are important for talking about what we do every day.
Yes, they are. It is good to learn these verbs. They help us make sentences about our daily life.
Absolutely. And then there is brush. When we say brush, we often mean to clean something with a brush. For example, I brush my teeth in the morning, or I brush my hair.
Yes, brush is very common. We brush our teeth every day.
Next, go. This verb means to move from one place to another. For example, I go to work, or I go to the store. You said, I go to the gym.
That's right. Go is a very useful verb for places.
Another important verb is study. When you study, you learn something, often from books or lessons. For example, I study English, or I study for my test.
Many of our listeners study English, so I study English every day is a good sentence for them.
Absolutely. And then there is cook. To cook means to prepare food, often using heat. For example, I cook dinner, or I cook breakfast on the weekend.
I like to cook sometimes too. It means making food.
And finally, sleep. This verb means to rest your mind and body by closing your eyes. We do this every night. For example, I sleep for 8 hours, or I sleep at night.
Yes, sleep is very important for our health. So we have brush, go, study, cook, and sleep. These are all verbs you can use to talk about your daily routine.
That's right, Bob. These verbs help you describe your day very well. They are essential for beginners. Bob, we have talked a lot about our routines today. Now, how can our listeners ask other people about their routines? This is important for conversations.
That's a good question, Julia. It's helpful to know how to ask. We can use simple questions to learn about someone else's day.
For example, If you want to know what someone does in the first part of the day, you can ask, "What do you do in the morning?"
Yes, that's a good one. It's very clear. And if you want to know about their job, you can ask, when do you start work? This asks about the time.
Exactly. Or to ask about the end of their workday, "When do you finish work?" Or for their free time, "What do you do in the evening?"
We can also ask about specific activities, like, do you exercise in the morning? Or do you cook dinner every day?
Those are excellent examples, Bob. The listeners can use "What do you do?" for general activities, or "When do you?" for times, and "Do you?" for yes or no questions about activities.
Remember to use the simple present tense when asking about routines, just like we did when describing our own.
That's a great point, Bob. So, listeners, we encourage you to practice these new question forms. Try asking a friend, a family member, or even yourself. Say the questions out loud.
Practice helps you speak English better. These questions are very useful for everyday conversations.
Bob, we have talked about our routines, but, not everyone has the same routine.
That's very true, Julia. Daily routines can be different for many reasons.
Yes, they can be different based on where people live, like their country or culture. For example, some people eat dinner late and some eat early.
Exactly. And also, routines depend on personal choices. Maybe you like to wake up early, and I like to wake up a little later. It's about what works for each person.
There is no one right routine. Everyone's day is unique.
So, it's interesting to learn about other people's routines. It helps us understand different ways of life.
It's good to be curious. You can ask your friends or family about their day using the questions we just learned. Now, Bob, we want to hear from our listeners.
Yes, we talked about our routines, and you learned many new words and sentences.
So, we want you to share a part of your daily routine with us. Please go to our YouTube channel, Learn English Podcast, and find this episode.
In the comments section, write about your morning, afternoon, or evening routine. Just one part is okay.
For example, you can write, "I wake up at 7 a.m." or "I study English in the evening."
Try to use the new words we learned today, like brush, go, study, cook, or sleep.
We are excited to read your comments and learn about your daily lives. It's a great way to practice your English. Well, Bob, this was a great conversation today. Thank you for sharing your routine and for helping our listeners.
You're welcome, Julia. I always enjoy our talks.
And thank you to all our listeners for joining us on the Learn English podcast. Today, we talked about daily routines.
Yes, we learned about waking up, eating breakfast, working, studying, and sleeping. We used many simple verbs and time expressions.
Remember, practice is very important for learning English. Try to use these new words and sentences every day. Talk about your routine in English with a friend or write it down.
And do not forget to share a part of your routine on our YouTube channel comments. We look forward to reading them.
That is all for today's episode. Keep practicing your English, and we will see you next time on the Learn English podcast.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.